Welcome back to Over the Bed, and here are your hosts.
Thank you, Johnny. Welcome, everyone. I'm Tony Tofu.
And I'm Nancy Nooch, and we're coming at you live from Hollywood.
We have a really good show for you tonight, so be sure to stick around. Guess what time it is, Nancy?
What time is it, Tony?
It's time for Overrated or Underrated.
Today we have two very special guests, the Clueless Vegans.
With the help of their Instagram followers, this dynamic duo will be rating all things vegan. But enough talking about it, let's get right to it.
Take it away, Sarah and Eric.
Thanks, Tony and Nancy. You guys are wonderful. Let's just get right into it. We have, firstly, Nutritional Yeast, or Nooch, as the cool kids say.
Underrated.
Underrated. You can put Nooch on anything. Spaghetti, fries, vegan nuggets,
popcorn,
your hair.
It's definitely an essential spice, I guess you could call it, for vegans. I don't know any vegans who don't have it. I don't know any vegans in real life, but the point still stands.
Our audience said it was underrated by 79%. That's as expected, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't like nutritional yeast. I mean,
It's Nooch.
It's Nooch.
It's Nooch.
Hummus.
Underrated?
Overrated.
Why would you say overrated?
I do like hummus. It's just not my favorite, and I feel like every vegan eats hummus all the time, and you know what? It's not that great. It's not as great as everyone makes it out to be.
It's a healthy snack. You can put it on pretzels, pita chips, roasted red pepper hummus, top notch.
I am in the minority here because 82% of our Instagram followers said that hummus is underrated.
And the answer, they know.
I don't know, I don't vibe with it.
You don't vibe with it. Who doesn't vibe with hummus?
I'm sorry.
Next up, we have Daya, or Daya? Daya? I don't know. Wow.
Ooh, wow, I didn't know you were going to say overrated.
Overrated.
Wow.
You know why overrated? Because they're Mac. I mean, for an Instant Mac, it's a little artificial, but ever since they raised the price an extra 45 cents, to me that just says they're getting greedy, and that's, no.
See, a lot of people hate on Daya. Even though Eric has a problem with the price point of the mac and cheese, they are typically the lowest priced cheese out there. And the cheesecake is really good.
I have one thing to say to you. $10 frozen pizzas.
Okay, but you're not going to find a vegan frozen pizza that's inexpensive.
Not $10 expensive.
I don't know. Although, okay, I will say their burritos are insanely overpriced. Don't buy the burritos. Not worth it. Those are overrated.
Instagram, you guys said overrated by 68%.
There are some Daya lovers out there. We exist. Avocado Toast. I feel like this might be a controversial one, especially because 67% of our Instagram followers said the avocado toast is underrated. And I do see the appeal, but I feel like there are better breakfasts, or snacks, or lunches, or whatever you want to eat it for.
Honestly, look, you have the toast. I love toast. Who doesn't love toast? Avocados, beautiful, right? A delicious treat. Combine them, I don't know. In my opinion, there's a lot more better things you can put avocado on. Burritos, tacos, burritos.
Avocados are generally very expensive. They go bad quickly. I don't know, it's a high stress food.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix, underrated. If you were to ask me this question back in 2001, I would have said overrated because of what he did to Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. Beautiful movie, by the way. But, his meme game is strong. He made the big speech at the Oscars. I'm going to say underrated on Joaquin.
And I honestly don't know a whole lot about him other than his, occasional vegan speeches, but, there's not many celebrities who would do that, so more power to him.
The audience said 75% underrated.
Jackfruit.
Jackfruit.
Ooh, promote some tension.
Allow you to take the first.
All right, jackfruit. First of all, I don't feel like many people use jackfruit. One, because it's unusual and you might be scared to try it, and two, because it can be kind of difficult to find. But the texture is great, the flavor can be great.
Wow, I think you changed my mind.
Oh,
I'm gonna go underrated. She's a great salesperson.
why would you have said overrated? Just out of curiosity.
Especially if you buy jackfruit from like the actual fruit, you have to like cut it up and prepare it, and I feel like that's like a hassle. It's like worse than
True.
like a watermelon.
That's a good disclaimer. You might not want to buy an actual jackfruit. Buy it like canned or in a bag or something like that. Our
The fancy.
audience, mostly agrees with us. We have 62% underrated, but there are those of you out there who dislike jackfruit, and I just want to know why.
Next up, we have Beyond Meat, which is a very heavily contested matchup. Very 50-50, I would say. But I'm going to say underrated. Honestly, any burger that can fill you up and not make you feel like a human blob afterwards is great. I can have like 4 of those things and feel fine. And the taste is great.
Before I went vegan, my absolute favorite food was a cheeseburger. And I don't think that just because you go vegan, you suddenly just, lose the taste for meat, I guess. So I think it's great to have an option for a product that does satisfy that want. I think it's also a great product to help more people try plant-based foods.
The Instagrammers said 50% overrated. So you guys are disagreeing with us. Overrated. We'd like to know why.
Almond butter.
Overrated.
This one, okay, guys, I was shocked, honestly, at how many people said that almond butter is underrated. We had a whopping 85% underrated.
First off, how rich are you guys? Almond butter is expensive.
No lie here, I do like the taste of almond butter. But 50 times out of 51, I'm going to pick the peanut butter because it's more inexpensive. And I feel like if you're using a nut butter, you're usually using a large quantity, whether that be smoothies, cooking, putting it on toast. And the almond butter, the little tiny jar that costs $10 is gone in like 3 days.
Yeah, look, if I'm taking you out to a nice brunch and I have a choice between peanut butter toast and almond butter toast, and I want to treat you, I guess I'll pay the additional $4.50 for an almond toast. But other than that, that's a no for me. Oat milk. Milk made from oats. Overrated.
We're at odds again.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. To me, there are far more better options than oat milk. You have, of course, the soy milk, but not even that. You have my personal favorite, vanilla rice milk. Oat milk doesn't have a lot of character.
So typically we buy soy milk and almond milk, but I think oat milk is a great alternative. One, because it tends to be pretty creamy, which a lot of people want out of their plant milks. And I also like that oats are they're more environmentally friendly than like an almond milk. I think that at large, oat milk is underrated, although I would agree that there are plenty of other good alternatives out there.
And the majority of you Instagrammers sided with underrated at 74%. So I guess I'm in the minority on this one.
Maybe we will bring you over to the oat milk side. Next up, we have smoothie bowls.
Overrated.
I see the appeal of smoothie bowls. I've had a few in my time, and they're usually pretty good, but I have some issues with smoothie bowls. One, they're not a year-round food. I can't have a smoothie bowl in the winter without being freezing cold. Two, they're expensive to make. I mean, when you consider the frozen fruit, the nuts and seeds, granola, peanut butter, anything that you want to add in there, it racks up to quite a large amount. Probably my biggest problem with smoothie bowls is that I'm hungry like a half an hour later. So those are my main issues.
How many of you have seen a sloppy smoothie bowl? they're all too perfect. Everything's layered perfectly. You have the walnuts, and then you have the chia seeds, and then the raspberry puree. I'm just simple, put everything in a blender, blend it up, and just drink it.
This is a bit controversial because our Instagram audience said that smoothie bowls are 59% underrated.
Up next, we have the Tofu Scramble. Underrated. What's not to like about a tofu scramble? And honestly, if you're not a fan of the tofu scramble, I think it's because you're not putting the right ingredients in it. A tofu scramble deserves some smoked paprika, some nooch, a bit of vegan mayo, which is a specialty that Sarah does, liquid aminos, mix that in with some black beans and diced tomatoes, and you're looking at a pretty good, wholesome breakfast meal.
Yeah, I mean, I am a huge proponent of tofu scramble. It's probably been one of my favorite vegan meals ever since I went vegan. It's great just, on the side. It's great on toast. It's great in like a burrito. There's so many ways you can customize it.
And you guys were excited with us yet again. 79% of you said it was underrated.
The only thing is, if you're a newer vegan or have never had vegan food before, just don't be surprised if it doesn't taste like eggs. It's its own thing, which is part of the beauty of it. Whole Foods, which is a grocery store chain, overrated. Now, many people enjoy Whole Foods because it has a wide variety of vegan options, which is great, but they have given us many, many disappointments in the past.
I believe it's cursed, by the way. It's a cursed place for us. Every time we've gone to Whole Foods, something bad's always happened. Car got a flat tire. We were looking for Beyond Burgers on a 4th of July one year, and they were completely sold out. And I was thinking to myself, oh, so now everyone's vegan. The third time, I think, what was it, buns? We were looking for buns.
Yeah.
They couldn't even find vegan buns.
If you really need vegan food, you can go to Walmart. You don't have to go to Whole Foods. You're not less vegan if you don't go to Whole Foods. Our Instagram followers agree with us because 57% said that Whole Foods is overrated.
Maple syrup. Underrated. Maple syrup, obviously you put it in your pancakes or waffles, but it's such a great component for cooking. You can put it in a lot of different desserts and other baking dishes.
Yeah, I think Eric pretty much said what I wanted to say. It's maybe a little bit healthier than like refined sugar. It tastes delicious. I mean, what more could you want?
79% of you said that it was underrated, so you guys are with us on that one.
Fast food vegan options, which have been exploding in popularity in recent years. Underrated. All right, I wasn't sure what you were going to say. There are a variety of restaurants, fast food restaurants, that you can get vegan options at these days, especially now that some restaurants are using like Beyond Meat, Impossible Burgers, and things like that. And while they're not always catering to vegans per se, it is really nice to have that extra option out there, especially if you're going on a trip or you just need a quick bite to eat and nothing else is available.
The fact that vegan options are available at fast food restaurants is, I guess, a step in the right direction as far as like the vegan movement. I mean, 10 years ago, you'd never think that, Burger King would make an Impossible Whopper, a fully plant-based burger. So I think it's kind of cool.
And 61% of our Instagram followers also agreed that fast food vegan options are underrated, so that's cool to hear. Keep enjoying your fast food.
Overnight oats is our next thing. It was a very tight race for this one. Overrated.
I'm saying underrated.
Okay.
I prefer overnight oats over regular oats for a couple different reasons. One, I just enjoy the texture more. Two, I think they can be really refreshing, especially in the summer. And three, I don't know why, but the flavor just seems to be a lot better to me than normal oats. I'm always been more of a instant oat guy. Just get a nice little packet, throw it in a bowl, add some milk, some whatever, put it in the microwave, and we're good to go. According to the audience, 52% of you said that it was underrated. So again, a tight contest. Close.
Yeah.
Next we have banana bread. Overrated.
What?
I do enjoy a good banana bread, but I don't know, maybe I don't really have the best reasoning for saying banana bread is overrated. Maybe it's just because I'm not the biggest banana person.
Banana bread is like old reliable. You know, it's easy to make. It makes a whole lot, and honestly, I'm a pretty big banana person. To mix things up, you can always add blueberries, chocolate chips, strawberries, anything. So I think it's just it's flexible, but also so good.
And most of you out there agree with Eric because 62% of our audience also said that banana bread is underrated.
Cashew cheese sauce. Overrated. I think there are far more better cheese options and more cheaper cheese options than cashew cheese. I think it's just a very timely process. Like for most recipes, you have to soak the cashews overnight, then you have to get it out of the fridge, and then you have to actually cook it. Again, maybe I'm just lazy, but...
Yeah, I totally agree with Eric on all of the points. You know, it's expensive, it takes a long time to make. And if you don't have like a really good blender, I don't know, whenever I've tried to make it before in a cheap blender, it never turned out like the store-bought ones, which are also always expensive. I think there are much better options, especially if you're trying to make vegan cheese on a budget.
89% of you said that cashew cheese sauce was underrated. So to the people who said overrated, thank you.
Next up, we have Buddha Bowls.
Underrated.
As a vegan, well, as a human being, sometimes you just want to throw things together and have a meal, and Buddha Bowls are the perfect option for that. You know, you can use any veggies, any protein, any grain that you have and make a really delicious dinner.
Whenever Sarah and I go through a long period of eating unhealthy foods, which is quite frequently, we like to throw in a Buddha Bowl every now and then. It's just, I don't know, it just feels like a healthier meal for us. Add some tofu, some edamame beans, black beans, and mix that all together, and you're looking for a pretty good time.
Yeah, and it's the kind of meal that you'll eat and you'll never feel bad afterwards. It'll just make you feel good inside. Instagram followers agree. We have an 83% underrated rating here. So it's clear that everybody loves a good Buddha Bowl.
Next up, we have an ice cream brand, Ben & Jerry's non-dairy ice cream. Of course, overrated. To me, personally, again, there are far more better options than the Ben & Jerry's. You have So Delicious. You have Nadamu. There's this brand that we get at Target. It's like Archer Farms. They make a really good banana cookie dough flavor. Pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than Ben & Jerry's.
When I have had Ben & Jerry's ice cream in the past, the texture always seemed a little dry to me, if that makes any sense. So maybe it's just the base that they use.
But you guys didn't feel that way. 87% of you said it was underrated, so...
I don't know, I think you guys need to broaden your horizons a little bit. You're missing out.
Get some So Delicious Snickerdoodle cashew milk ice cream. You can thank me later.
And last but not least, we have vegan YouTubers.
Totally underrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who doesn't love a good vegan YouTuber?
I know, they don't get enough attention.
They really don't.
I mean, on Instagram, 89% of you also agreed that vegan YouTubers are underrated.
Well, that's it for overrated and underrated. We first like to thank our Instagrammers for participating in this and really helping us out. You guys mean a lot to us. And even though we tend to disagree on some things, it's all for good fun.
But feel free to argue in the comments. Now, back to Tony and Nancy. Wow, what a segment.
Those two are a lot of fun.
Hey, Tony, did you know they actually have a YouTube channel?
They do?
That's right. Be sure to subscribe to them for top-of-the-line vegan content.
That just about does it for us here on Over the Veg. I'm Tony Tofu.
And I'm Nancy Nooch.
Signing off. Until next time.